Hello. What I thought I'd do in this tutorial today is demonstrate how to create a little sandbox area that an NPC will wander around in. So this might be useful if, for example, you've got a large interior and you want an NPC to just stay sandboxing in a particular part of that area. So you might want him to only ever stay in his bedroom or only stay in the kitchen. You don't want him to wander around the whole cell, and you don't want him to wander around just anywhere within a radius. You want to keep him in a specific area. So I've gone back to an old file of mine from when I was doing my tutorial interiors, and I thought this would be a pretty good example of it because it's got these rooms on the left and right, and we're going to have our NPC only sandbox in the center. So I've already given him a couple of things to do, so he can paint this wall, he can lean on this other wall, or he can sit down in this chair. This guy, I don't know what he's here for. He must have been from an old tutorials. Hopefully he won't get in the way. I'll push him to the back. So first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to create an NPC that is going to be doing the walking around. So I go to actors, actor, right click, new, and I'm just going to give him a unique ID. So I'll just call him Shoot Sandbox NPC. Let's give him a name. So that's what will show up in the game, Sandboxer, and okay. So I'm just going to click and drag him straight into the world. It just looks exactly the same as the other guy, so that might be a little bit confusing for us. So then what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to define the area in which he's going to be sandboxing. So the way to actually create this, it's called a primitive. Way to actually create this primitive it is kind of any way you want. I'm going to do it this way. So I'm just going to select the sum total of the area that I want him to be in. So I'm going to want him to be in somewhere from here to here. I mean, obviously, if you've got a bigger room, you don't have to select the whole room. You know, if I had a big room, I could select something that was a gap. So if I want him to go from here to here or something like that, I could just sort of select roughly the area. But I want him to be from sort of here to sort of here, these two walls. And I'm going to create, if this thing wasn't in the way, I would do it. Because I can't see which one I need to click on while these warnings are in the way. I'm going to create a trigger, like that. I'm just going to search for sandbox, caps lock, not necessary. We want package sandbox primitive here. Double click, and nothing's appeared because I don't have markers enabled. So if you press M, that will suddenly appear, and there's a load of other stuff from other tutorials. So ignore these white boxes. These are for lights from an old tutorial. This green one we want. So now basically because I selected this area from good grief, this was not a good area to do it in. Because I selected these walls from here to here, the trigger has automatically become the size that I want. What I could alternatively have done would be to just click on the wall and go, sandbox primitive, and you can see that's created a primitive for size of the wall, and then you can click and drag these arrows and make it bigger. The other way we could have done it is we could have gone to activators all the way down the bottom, and we could have clicked and dragged it in, and that's made a cube which we can, oh gosh, which we can then resize. If these arrows don't appear, just press the number 2 on your keyboard. That makes them appear and disappear. Get rid of them to make it easier to move it around. Bring them up so you can resize it. But we don't want that one. We only want the one particular one that we've already made. And handily enough, because I selected the exact area that I wanted it to be in, it's already filled it in. So next up, we need to tell our NPC that that is the area that he wants to sandbox in. So I'm going to create an AI package for him. Actor, go into the NPC we made before, and AI packages. So I'm going to right click, new. I'm going to create probably our default ones we can use, but I'm going to actually in this example show you how to create a default package that you can then apply to any NPC within your mod that you want to behave in this way. So I'm just going to call it shoot sandbox package, and our package template is going to be a sandbox, and we're going to pick now our location. So this is where you would define where you want him to be. So you could leave it as it is. You want him to sandbox within a radius of the editor location, but we actually don't want him to do that. We want him to stay within the boundaries that we have created for him. So what I'm going to do is, in order to make it generic, so that we can use it with any NPC within our mod, I'm going to have him sandbox near a linked reference. I'm going to select link custom 01. These link custom ones are just kind of generic links that you can use to find your linked references. What we could do if we didn't want to use this with any other NPC is we could just go for near reference, select reference, and then select our primitive in the render window. But in this example, I don't want to do that. I want this package to be useful for any NPC. So go back, I'm just going to select the link custom and hit OK, 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 and save. So at the moment, that package still doesn't do anything because we haven't actually defined what link custom is. So what we need to do now is we need to click on our NPC. I'm having to zoom in quite close because there's a whole load of rubbish in here. And we're going to need to create that linked reference. So we're going to go to linked ref, right click new, pick a reference in render window, make sure we picked our sandbox primitive, which I haven't done. There we go, it should call package sandbox primitive. And now keyword link custom 01. Okay, so now what is going to happen is the package will search for whichever linked reference is tagged with the keyword linked reference 01, and it will make our NPC sandbox around that area. And the area in this example, which is tagged with link custom 01, is this sandbox primitive. So he will sandbox within that sandbox primitive. And because I've set it up that way, I could add another NPC in this room with another sandbox primitive, link custom 01 to that other sandbox primitive with a new NPC, and use the exact same AI package that I gave to him. So that way I don't have to create 3 or 4 AI packages if I have 3 or 4 NPCs that I want to confine to a particular area. So I'm going to jump into the game and demonstrate that working the best that I can, because it's not a very large environment, there's not a lot to do, but hopefully we should go in and see him sandboxing in that location. And here we are in the room where he's... Oh, my triumphant music from previous mod, I think. There we are, he's in the room, he's sandboxing in the area that we've given him. So really, that's all there is to it. So hopefully that was clear and hopefully that was useful. I'm also going to take this opportunity to plug my Patreon, where I am writing a monthly short story with I would call them sort of creepy, unsettling tales. If you enjoyed my Far Harbour story mod in particular, I think you will enjoy these stories. So thank you for watching. Hopefully that was useful. Hopefully that was interesting.
What's this
And
hiding?
goodbye.